Hello, everyone. This is a new thing I'm trying. So I just posted an article on called "What Makes a Man," and an exploration on identity and um, uh, self worth. And it's really my thoughts that start as hesitation when I first get exposed to identity politics in college. Um, the thing is, if we break people down into these groups based on characteristics that either we can't change and have no effect on, or alternatively, that we can change, but we assume that we can't because it makes us part of these reified groups, then all it does is create this us versus them mentality. And I think the reason people are now exploring identity, and you see it everywhere, 15 years later, um, it's the underlying uh, philosophy of most talking heads and uh, podcast commentators and whatnot is that your identity is based on this implicit group identification. When really, I think I was getting at something real. As I say in the article, I think it's like a good conspiracy theory. A good conspiracy theory is true on the first few points. It's where it goes next that becomes just uh, complete conjecture. Um, so instead, I would say we're really getting at what is it that makes us who we are and what gives us our value, our worth as humans. Um, and if any of these things can change, then is there really a self that we are? Is that part of our fear of change? I think what we see is that, well, of course, there are things you can't change about yourself. Your genetics are a very obvious one, but you can. That's your talents. If you know the parable of the talents that you're given to begin with, is what will you make of it? Um, you're given this. Uh, you're given the situation, and you're supposed to make more of it if you can. And that's what we're all called to do. But there's these other things that either are the choices we make, um, the associations we make, the job you have. If you do a completely different kind of job, in some sense, you'll be a different person, but you will still exist. And if there is this inherent you, um, which is a Christian, I fully believe, that there is, as Jeremiah 1:5 talks about, that God knew him before he was formed in his mother's womb. And so, if God can know you before you're formed, then there is a you that exists outside of the things that occur in this life. I think we have a sense of that. And if that's true, then there is inherent worth to the person. If if you take a non-Christian view, um, then what are you grounding that in? It can't be anything transcendent if you're a materialist. If it's nothing transcendent, then it's an accident, and uh, or it's an opinion or a preference. But that means that opens up Pandora's box, and then oh, there's nothing wrong with saying, oh well, redheads, we should really get rid of them. Like, it's a preposterous notion, and I think one that most people, just when they face it, they know it's clearly wrong. It's not true. And so I say reject that. And what would coincide with what we seem to see in the world or know from our own experiences? And that's the value that human beings have. Of Otherwise, we'll commit atrocities that people have always committed when they try to say that the worth of a person is something related to a physical characteristic, um, or trait or skill or ability. It always leads to atrocities. And dividing people on groups not on values and choices, but um, on just immutable characteristics, or just um, identified uh, caste systems always leads to violence. Always has for all of human history. And so we have to fight this notion. Instead, realize that we have inherent worth, we have an identity, but part of that is made up of things that we can change. We can choose to go toward the good, the true, and the beautiful. And if we haven't, or if the results of our actions have led us away from those things, then clearly we need to change. We all know that. Um, but there's no group or eddy or experience that's going to, you know, make you not struggle to become that person that feels more you. And so, also with the things that we can't change, it's a matter of either A, embracing that and making the most, and living into it. Um, you know, live into your abilities and lack thereof, or make the best of it by doing what you can to overcome those things. And if we do that, then we can become better versions of ourselves, maybe the people we were made to be. And that doesn't stop. There's always more. Life is again and again about change. Um, but we want to change towards the better. We want to become more than we are. And so I pray everyone will read and meditate on these ideas, and really activate them in your life if you're not. And start to see other people as this is the thing you share with them. It's not the thing that separates you. It's that we all live in this reality that God has created together. And in that shared reality, we can connect and become one with one another in a way that we otherwise couldn't. Um, so, yeah, I hope you enjoy the article, the video, and stay tuned for more. God bless.